So you're ready to write, huh? You have your desk ready, you have your laptop ready on a blank page, your favorite notebook, your expensive writer's pen, your fresh cup of overcomplicated coffee that took way too long to make. You take a picture of all the things that show you're a writer. You post it on Instagram with the hashtag writer's life. The vibe is right, the light is right. You're ready to write down some straight fire and nothing. Nothing. All work and play makes Jack a dull boy. Welcome to the Writers Club. You are stuck. I've been writing stories since I was a little kid. Whenever the teacher would give us a writing prompt and we got to write a story, I just loved that so much. So naturally, as I got older, I just kept writing. I wrote my first screenplay when I was 15 years old after a heartbreak. And it will never see the light of day because it's complete trash. So I've been writing for a really long time, and getting stuck, that's just the nature of the beast. You are going to get stuck. That's the first thing you need to know about writing. You will get stuck, and that's just a part of it. So how do we get out of it? Let's talk about what I like to do whenever I get stuck. Whenever I get an idea or I come up with a scene or I, break the story, and sometimes I just catch fire and I just keep writing and writing and I can't stop. But sometimes that fire goes out and I get stuck and I don't know where to go. I don't know where to take that story. So what I've realized about myself and the reasoning behind why I get stuck is because I have a million different ideas of where that story can go, but I just don't know which one to pick. Which one is the best one? Which one is going to be the most impactful? That's going to be the most powerful, and it's going to make the story even better. That's my problem whenever I get stuck. Sometimes it's the lack of ideas, but most of the time, too many ideas of where I can take the story, and I just don't know which one to pick. The first thing I like to do is just walk away, step away from it and get my mind off of it. I like to play video games, watch movies, watch some anime. I like to cook. I like to work out, work on my house. That's why I like to walk away from it, because sometimes it just comes to me organically, and I know where to go from there. I just completely distract myself and do something else. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, it has to be this. The second thing I do whenever I get stuck, I like to meditate. I'll close the door of my office, sit on the couch, and just close my eyes and just visualize the story. And I insert some of my ideas. Like, how is that idea going to impact the whole story? Or how is it going to impact the scene before that? So I like to visualize those beats in my head. Like, okay, if I pick this scene, this is how it's going to feel and look. If I pick this one, it's going to change the whole dynamic. And I like to visualize how that's going to look. And hopefully, by visualizing, I get to kind of see where I want to take the story and see where it could go or where it needs to go based off the story. So, after I visualize, I like to write out a timeline of every scene, every beat, and just write it down, and so I can look at it, so I can see it. And actually seeing that scene on my timeline lets me get a better idea of how the story is going to flow. And even if you don't like your new ideas or the new scenes that you came up with, just write them down next to the scenes you do want and kind of just get a feel for it. Because if you get to see it, you kind of start getting a feel like, oh, okay, that's not going to work, or that is going to work, or just things of that nature. And just visualizing your scenes and then put them down on paper gives you a good idea of how the story is gonna go and it's gonna flow. Yeah, and don't be afraid to write down those bad ideas on the timeline. I mean, even if it's complete trash, just write them down. I mean, this isn't your final draft. This is probably the first draft of like a million. You're not gonna get it perfect the first time. Sometimes you will, and sometimes you won't. But whenever you get stuck and you write them down, you get to see your ideas in a physical form. Your timeline or your first draft doesn't need to be a masterpiece. It just needs to be the foundation of your story. So if you have some bad ideas, write those down. If you have good ideas, write those down too. Putting my ideas down on a timeline really helps me visualize my story as a whole and where it needs to go. So the last thing I like to do whenever I'm stuck is just write something else, something completely different. A whole nother movie that I'm working on the side that's just cool and crazy, and it's just fun. And I kind of use that story just because it's crazy and it just lets me get all my ideas out and I don't have to worry about whether it's good or not. It's just fun and just crazy, and it's just good practice and training for writing, because you're writing a story and you're just getting everything out of your system. And it teaches you about characters and about writing. But most of all is that it's fun because you don't have that pressure of creating a masterpiece. You just write. That idea could be the craziest thing in the world and it's never been done before. But I like going to that script because it just allows me to have fun and to exercise writing. Because at the end of the day, writing should be fun for you. It should be something that you love to do. And yeah, it's hard. Yeah, you get stuck. Sometimes you feel hopeless. But once you get over those challenges and those obstacles, really just create something that wasn't there before. That it was just a blank page before. But now it's a story with characters, that people that you brought into this world from your brain. And that's what's fun to me about writing, is I get to create a world and these characters. You should enjoy spending time with your characters. You shouldn't go and write and feel pressured and feel bad and feel like you don't want to do it. You should want to go and spend time with those characters and see where their story can go. Because when you're writing, it shouldn't be about you. It should be about those characters and that story, or how those characters get to fulfill their destiny. And that's the beauty of storytelling. And that's the beauty of what you can do when you write. You basically get to create life when you write. One thing that I've had to learn to do is to stop trying to create a masterpiece and just create something that's true to those characters. Everyone's different. Everyone has a different writing process. This is just what I like to do personally. I've been writing for a really long time and I've tried every single method that's out there. But these are just some that I like to do. I have different ones. You're probably gonna take a couple from me that you like to do and then maybe do your own. We're all different, and that's the beauty about writing, is we each bring something personal to the table. So the next time you get stuck and you have writer's block, just use it, feed from it. Don't let it win. Don't let it overpower you. Use it for your advantage, for your story, and just keep writing and don't stop.